Good morning, everybody. Semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. Today is a great day. We are celebrating today. I broke the 3,000 subscriber mark last night, and you know what's been happening is I'd go down a little bit, go up a little bit, and then down and up, and it would be slowly going up 2 or 3 a day. Sometimes only 2 or 3 a week. But I started the day 6 or 7 away and ended up picking up 20 subscribers yesterday. So I'm quite a few over the 3,000 mark. So we're celebrating. Yay! Okay, that's enough celebrating. On to 5,000. I'm just kidding. Couple of things I want to talk about today. While we talk about some of the things that have happened from 0 to 3,000 subscribers. Whew. I might have to zip this jacket up. Pretty amazing. This is not a light jacket. For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. You may be wondering, Bob, what in the world am I watching? Well, you're watching me walk. And the reason this is marginally important is just a little over 8 months ago, I couldn't do this. I could barely stand up for 2 to 2.5 minutes without severe pain. And now I'm out here walking every day. Some days, I even go out to the park and walk on the trails with a loaded backpack. And I think I'm going to get out to the trail tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Today's Wednesday. You guys will be seeing this on Thursday. And my shoulder feels much better. So, and I gave my trekking poles a couple of test laps last night after I got done filming that video. And I think I'm ready to give it a try. I'm not gonna target big miles or anything. Hang on a second, I gotta set you guys down for just a second and zip this jacket up, because my goodness, that wind is cold. And it's only 50 degrees out here. Sorry about that, guys. It's only 50 degrees out here. And the breeze is very cold. I'm pausing for just a moment in what we're talking about because Miss Amanda's coming up the sidewalk. And it's already weird enough to be out here talking to my camera, let alone talking to my camera with people walking by. Good morning, Miss Amanda. But yeah, it's barely 15. The wind is blowing. I have no idea how bad the wind noise on this video is going to be. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning, which is a lot earlier than I usually do my walking. And it is supposed to get up to 62 or 63 today. But it's supposed to storm this afternoon too. As the temperature rises, the chance of rain goes up. So I wanted to get this walk in before that rain comes. And it's amazing how much more cold I am without all the 130 degrees of padding. 130 degrees. 130 pounds of padding. Because now this blue jacket is not my winter coat, which I didn't bring with me. Now I sort of wish I had. I have a good winter coat at home in Omaha, but I usually don't put that on. Previously, at all the weight loss, I'd wear that black windbreaker jacket down to about 50 degrees, actually down to about 40 degrees. And then I'd put this one on at about 40 degrees, and it was good down to 15 to 20 degrees. And then anytime it got below 15 degrees, I'd have to put my good winter coat on. And if it got much below negative 20, I have to put some layers on underneath that. Now, it's 50 or 51 out. And I won't say I'm freezing, but it feels really cold out here to me. So hopefully, I will slowly adjust. My body will slowly regulate and learn how to re-regulate heat and keep me from getting quite so cold. Huh. A lot of cars in the parking lot today. Well, I understand. There's a lot of people that do things around the church, trying to get stuff done before church happens tonight, because Miss Jessica and her husband left last night. There's a couples retreat going on through Saturday. I think it actually starts Friday, but everybody's getting out of town tonight to spend a day at the beach tomorrow. But of course the nursery will still be here, so there'll be a couple of nursery workers, but everybody that does other stuff around the church is trying to get it all done so they can. Some are leaving tonight after church, some are leaving first thing in the morning tomorrow. So it's, people are getting ready to get out of here. So that's the saga of the jackets. But yeah, I started this channel as a travel, photography. I never really got to do much traveling because it was post-heart surgery. And what I found was that after my heart surgery, because the first 2-3 weeks I couldn't really do much, and I wasn't allowed to drive myself for, I don't even remember now, it was like 5-6 weeks. Luckily a friend of mine came and took me to cardiac rehab 3 days a week. But I couldn't really do much, and even after I was allowed to drive again, it was very easy to fall back into the sedentary lifestyle. Because, after you do, like I said, I don't remember how long it was. I think it was 6 weeks that I wasn't allowed to drive. And spending 6 weeks basically sitting at home, waiting for your ride to show up to take you somewhere, whether it be grocery shopping or over to cardiac rehab, and that's really all I did. It was very easy to fall back in to not doing anything. And I thought, well, gosh, if I want to take advantage of this newfound energy that I have, because there's blood flowing to my heart again, I need to get out and do something. So I started, I think the first video I ever made was at the zoo, but I don't remember. I made a whole series of videos about the Omaha Zoo and a whole series of videos at Father Flanagan's Boys Town, and I made some videos about some of the local parks that I was going out to. I wasn't really doing a lot of walking, because at the time I was recovering from heart surgery. It back then the walk was, park the car in the handicap spot and walk a couple hundred steps to what I was going to take pictures of, talk to the camera a bit, and then walk back to the car. Nothing like what I'm doing now. But I started those, and I don't know how familiar any of you are with the photography and travel spaces here on social media and YouTube, but there's a lot of people out there, a lot of really good people out there in the space. So you have to, I never really found a way to make myself stand out. So I ended up with about 25 subscribers. And then Mom got sick, and I ended up down in New Orleans for a year, taking care of her. She's fine, by the way. She's doing great. She's in an extended care facility just a few blocks away from my sister's house in Ohio. And she walks over and sees Mom a couple of times a day, if not 3. But then, well, you all know the story. I've talked about it many times in several different interviews that I've done, how I came upon the Carnivore Diet, and it changed my life. Now here I am, about 8.5 months later. Now it's down to the end of January, closing in on the 9-month mark. It'll be 9 months on February the 9th. And here we are, gone from barely able to walk, barely able to stand up, and now doing this. But I thought a lot because Professor K and the youngster have been going at it. I think they're probably done with that. At least I think Professor K is done with that. But they're going back and forth, and I think the takeaway on certain things is do see how it makes your body feel, because more is not always better. Yes, the youngster is right when he says that cooking your meat denatures the vitamins, which means it makes them less. But because of all the N=1 experiments out there, we know that for a great majority of the people, that cooked meat has plenty of nutrients for them. Because if they didn't, well, I don't know if I'd notice it in 8 months, but Professor K's done it for, 7, 8 years. Dr. Ken Berry's is 7 or 8 years. Kelly Hogan's at, 14 years now. And, the list just keeps going on and on and on. But then I was thinking about organ meats in that same line of thought last night as I was laying in bed trying to fall asleep. And I think for this I'm going to fall back on Dr. Berry's advice. And his basic advice is a small amount once or twice a week. You know, like maybe 2 ounces, like a can of cod liver. Not the cod liver oil, but the cod liver. Maybe a can of sardines, which aren't exactly organ meats, but, you know, take an ounce or two of liver and chop it up into your ground beef if you don't like liver. But one of the things he says that don't go over very often, our bodies are pretty good machines, and they will tell us, it will tell us what it's craving. And if organ meat sounds good to you, and you make some and it tastes good, you probably needed a little bit of it. But if you cook up some organ meat, it makes you sick to your stomach just from the smell of trying to cook it, and then you get out there and try to eat it, and you just can't choke it down, then you probably don't need it. Now remember that, you know, more isn't always better. I say that while we're also celebrating 3,000 subscribers. And by the way, each and every one of you, thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means to me. I mean, I'm still blown away. There are even 50 or 100 of you that want to listen to what this old retired truck driver has to say. And now there's 3,000 of you? Just wow. And the one thing that Professor K said last night that I found interesting, because I have no desire to eat organ meats. None whatsoever. I've never been able to stomach them. But he said, you know, because there's this thought of better safe than sorry is very pervasive out there. You know, everybody's always like, well, there's all these different people talking about all the good stuff in organ meats. And if the few things that you might start getting deficient in, I don't think you will just eating beef. But if you're worried about it, but you can't stomach organ meats, he said, just eat a little chunk of salmon once a week. Or some other kind of fish. Salmon is very fatty, so it's a good piece of fish to have. I ate salmon early on. The sun's trying to break through. It's not supposed to, because it's supposed to rain and storm. So if you're actually, you know, if you're worried about it and you don't think you can stomach organ meats, and certainly don't go out and spend your life savings on these ground up organ supplements, just eat a piece of fish. But I really don't. My personal opinion is that you don't really need it, because I've been doing just fine. I've been on lion diet now for 4 months, which means I just eat ruminant meat in my case because beef is what's here and available. I eat ruminant meat, salt and water. I have added in a little pork. I don't think there's anything wrong with pork. I just feel a little better when I eat beef. Not a lot better. I can't tell a huge difference. And if I remember to cook the pork in some butter and then maybe add a little butter on top, I don't really notice any difference. It's just pork has a little bit lower fat content than beef, the way I've been eating my beef. So, you know, I did not know, unless I don't even remember who I was listening to last night, but I watched so much stuff. But I did not realize that pork is actually the number one meat eaten around the world. So there must not be too much wrong with it if that many people are eating it and surviving it. But I learn how to talk, Bob. I also want to talk just a moment about highly processed foods versus whole foods. Because many people have come into my comments. Of course, you guys haven't seen them because they get held out by my word filters. But many people have come into my comments claiming that I hate vegans. I don't. Not at all. I think vegans, those that are doing whole food, one ingredient vegan lifestyle, I think they're at least thinking about their health and nutrition. Now these people that, just like there's, you know, a bunch of keto people that go out there and buy all the keto snacks, the cookies, the cakes, the brownies, the breads, which are a trap. There's vegans out there that, well, I'm vegan, but so I can have Oreos, because Oreos are vegan, and I can have all this fake meat stuff. Those people I have a problem with, not because of the fact that they're vegan, but because they're eating highly processed crap. Just like all of you that eat the keto cookies and brownies and that kind of stuff. But I have nothing against a vegan that is trying to better their health by eating, you know, basically whole food, one ingredient. You know, they fill their plate up with broccoli and cauliflower and some beans for protein and some fruits and all that. I don't think it's an ideal diet. Any diet where the real experts will show you a handful of supplements you have to take every day. I don't think that's a sustainable diet. And unfortunately, it's a very appealing diet to the younger generations because they buy into all the stuff surrounding the diet. And let's face it, you know, people's brains aren't fully formed for a number of years, and they're very susceptible to the latest shiny thing. But they are at least thinking about their health because they're trying to eat healthier and not eat all the processed stuff. So anyone that's pushing, vegan or plant-based or whatever it is they call it these days, but they want to force people to eat this basically highly processed pet food for humans. I want no part of that. So on the carnivore diet, I take supplements every day. It's called beef and the associated fat that goes with it. And that's all the supplement I need. Now maybe at some point I'll decide that I need something more. We'll see. That's still what I call a 10% problem. It's amazing how much warmer it feels when the wind dies down for just a second. I get behind a building and it blocks the wind. It almost feels warm out, and then that wind just cuts right through me. But the last thing I wanted to cover today, while I'm walking around the backside, where are we at on time? Oh yeah, we're getting there already. As I say it at the end of every video, but I haven't really explained it very well since I first introduced it several months ago. I close out every video by saying, don't forget to get out there, be 1% better today. What do I mean by that? 1% in anything. I originally introduced it with the video, I think I called it How to Never Stall Again on Any Diet. And this is something I took from Coach Bronson. He said it a little differently than I say it, but the original idea came from him. If all we're focusing on is the scale, then we're going to have days when we step on the scale and nothing has happened. And if nothing happens for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 days, we consider ourselves in a stall. Dr. Berry says that a stall is more than 3 months. But if we're not focusing on just the scale, and it doesn't even have to be about diet and exercise. That's primarily what I talk about here. So, my walks all started with trying to do 1% more walking every day. The first one was down to the corner and back, and you can see where I'm at now. But it doesn't have to all be about that. Because your brain is part of your body too. I know, shocking. Great deep revelations from semi-retired Bob. The brain is actually part of the body. But what I'm getting at here is, you can decide you want to learn a new skill. And you watch a YouTube video, or you learn how to do one new thing. Whether it be learning how to crochet, or learning how to cook, learning how to work on your own car, learning how to organize your house better, you name it. Or even, doing crossword puzzles, or jigsaw puzzles, or any of that stuff. if you incorporate all of that into your life, and each day you pick something that you're working on and get just 1% better at it, you've had improvement that day. Therefore, you're not stalling. The scale may have stalled. You may not be able to walk that extra 10 or 15 steps today, but you did something that was a little better than you did it yesterday. And that's where the 1% better every day comes from. It's a whole mindset that we can feed our body, feed our brain, feed our muscles. Put it all together in one big package, and you can get 1% better every day. You know, when I first started, I was one of these people that, you know, I had to jump on the scale every morning because that's just what I did. Now, I jump on it every Saturday if I remember. Sometimes I don't even remember. But that's where the 1% better every day comes from. I've got a few more plans for some other things I might do this afternoon before church or even after church. We'll see what happens. But for now, if this is the end of the video for today, thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you're here. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. All the YouTube-y things. But don't forget to get out there. Be 1% better today. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you tomorrow.